Hey guys, welcome to another beautiful episode of Billionaire Habits Podcast. This time around, we're here in our head office in Ikoyi, Lagos. Remember, season 1 was done in Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and we're super excited to have amazing guests in this season. And my guest today is somebody very, very special to me. We've known each other for years now, actually. At some point, we were business partners. At some point, it was my landlord plus our first office in Abuja. So we had a shared space together. And then, incidentally, the office I used to use now is his main office now in Abuja. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Tope Runsewe.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Same here.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Awesome.
So let me start by, because I hardly get guests like you, quite unique. You met money at home, unlike some of us who we talk about stories of grass, to grace. How was it like growing up? Because you're one of those that I know is very hungry. If people don't know that, you are from a wealthy home, they'll probably think you struggle, so that made you to be hungry for success. But your hunger is exceptional. So first of all, how was it like growing up, from a home that was doing well?
Right.
And then where did the passion for wealth come from?
Thank you, Dr. Steve, for having me on the show today. So how was it growing up? First of all, I wasn't from a wealthy home,
okay.
but not from, what you call at that time middle class family, right? So what it was like growing up, I think a lot of what gives me drive, I believe, was from my father's example.
Okay.
My dad has always been a businessman.
Okay.
And so from when I was little, I see him travel on Monday, come back home on Saturday or on Sunday and be gone again on Monday.
Yeah.
And I remember an occasion, one of the early places we lived in Ibadan. He came back home and we knew he was back because of the way the car was sounding.
Okay.
From whatever journey. I think that I can remember so well. Yeah. On that particular occasion, he was coming back from Benin.
Okay.
And apparently some cows were crossing the road. So this cow thing has been for a long time. Were crossing the road and he hit the cow, or one of them. Wow. And, one way or the other, he lost his silencer. So the car came home sounding like a generator, And those things never left me. I just figured that life for a man is about doing what you need to do to make sure you take care of your family. Yeah. And then when you begin to have vision, and then your vision. So, it just started with the drive of trying to understand of what I saw at home, right? Mm-hmm. But later I grew into other things, which I'm sure in the course of our conversation will come to that. But that was how I was growing up. Dad was still a businessman till today. That was all he did. That was the example I saw. My mom was a nurse. Later she started a school. So both my parents were entrepreneurs. Yeah. So that was all I knew.
Did you always know you will take over the family business or you will also be an entrepreneur?
So one thing I was clear about was that I would be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
That was clear, and that started. So when you talk about drive and, business, that started all the way from secondary school.
Wow.
Because then, so if I give this example, it will sound like we're from a wealthy family. But in my last year of secondary school was the first time we traveled abroad.
Okay. Can you imagine? This one is from a rich home, Jerry.
Was the first time we traveled abroad. Yeah. But where am I going? So, there was this little pocket money that my dad gave each and every one of us.
Yes.
And I, went to Liverpool Street Market in London.
Yes.
And I chartered wristwatches.
Wow.
Right? and I brought them back to school to sell, right? And so I think that has just always been there. And the same thing.
And did you sell out?
Oh, yes, completely.
Wow.
And people were making, new orders. Wow. And then I discovered that, at some point I met some of my dad's secondary school friends.
Wow.
And one of them just decided to tell me about my dad.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same thing.
He did.
Yes, he said he would travel to wherever and buy colored singlets.
Wow.
So, white singlets is the popular. So he will go somewhere, buy blue, buy red, and come and, sell to his fellow students. So that was exactly what I didn't know then, but I just learned this maybe a few years ago. So that's what started then. Uni, the same thing. There was nothing I was not doing. If I tell you the story of my uni days, there was nothing I didn't do.
Was that?
So, okay, now you're going to say I came from the family. But so let me give you this background. So I was admitted to study civil engineering at University of Ibadan.
Okay.
1999.
Okay.
However, I resumed and we got to school and then there was a strike.
Okay.
So, Freshers Week, registering, doing all of that, strike happened. I thought, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, we'll be back. That strike that lasted 1 year.
Wow.
It lasted a whole year.
Wow.
So, after 3 months, 4 months, my dad came and said, okay, what's this boy? You're just sitting at home. What are you going to do? So, I started searching, online. Online in that time, 1999, was dial-up internet. We had dial-up internet. So I started researching and then I found schools, did all of that. And then I found a school, an American university in London. So I attended Richmond American University in London. But what led to that, a few things, was first that they gave me...
civil engineering?
I did. I ended up studying computer engineering.
Okay.
But they gave me a past scholarship. And, by the time I was in my second year, at the end of my second year, I was now on a full scholarship. There were many things. So by the time from my third year till the end, I was paying zero fees. Wow. My accommodation was covered. I did many other things that but we'll talk about.
But even if you didn't get scholarship, Popsy could pay.
Well, you see, these are the things that, you find out about later. Yes. Only recently, when I was talking to my dad and we're just gisting, and he was telling me that, do I know that there were those times that he took loans from the bank to support whatever looked like half of the, that because it will be time for fees, there will not be enough, and they are sent this
of entrepreneurship.
They will just look for, the money from anywhere, take it here, just to make sure that, fees were paid on time.
So when you say rich people, billionaires, millionaires, are actually the poorest people in terms of the fact that most times it's people's money or it's loan or something.
You see, this is very interesting because I was just telling a friend a week ago, we went somewhere and we needed to pay for something and the person's had a card and the POS machine was not working. And for some reason, the app also was not working. Yeah. So, the person said, okay, help me pay, I would send you the money later. It was 2 million naira.
Yeah.
I said, I don't have 5,000 right now. I said, but tomorrow I might have $1 billion. So this is, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, there could be a day that there is $1 million, there could be a day that there's 2 billion, there could be another day that 10,000, like now, after paying salaries last week, you start wondering what's going on, So I think as an entrepreneur, a business person, you must come to terms with the fact that, money moves. That's why they call it currency.
Yeah, exactly.
It must keep on moving. Yeah. You just want to position yourself so that there's more coming to you than going out of you, and that's the balance that every entrepreneur is constantly trying to, achieve. And the thing as well is that as a naturally driven person, when you conquer a particular level, you just know that you are moving on to the next. Yeah. That is just where my life is that my wife was asking me the other day, this man, when are you going to rest? You say, the target is this. When by the time we meet that target, you have already created another one. And you are just constantly, what is it? Just relax. And I just cannot get myself to stop. It is, I've tried to figure out what it is. I cannot. Part of it is nature, part of it would be nurture, part of it is learned, part of it, you grow through mentorship.
You have tough mentors.
Oh yeah, I have mentors I cannot afford to mess up in any way. Apart from the fact that I put myself under pressure naturally, there are also people that I look up to who are expectant of minimum requirements from me. And then there are people that look up to me as well.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a time one of my mentors said, Tope, you need to realize that if you fail or you give up, it's going to affect a lot of people because there are people who are looking up to you directly or indirectly. You don't even know them.
Very true.
Right? That if the day you say you are packed up, they're like, if Tope I say is not doing it again, that means this thing is done. So it puts a lot of interesting pressure on you. And then you get to a point that, and I've gotten to that point that it's no more about me.
Yeah, it's not. It's
not more about. I told my team the other day. I said it's not about me anymore. If it's just me, that's fine. We're good. But there was a season where things were so tough. There was a particular project. Things were going. Everything was going the wrong way. And I remembered I prayed a prayer. I said, God, at this point, this thing is no more about me. But you have put all these people under my employment, directly or indirectly. If this thing doesn't go according to plan, either you give me a new one to send these people to, or you sort this matter out. And the matter was resolved on its own.
Wow.
Because that prayer was not about me. That prayer was like, there are 100 plus people who are taking their daily, monthly living from this thing that we're doing. If you say I should pack it up, I'll pack it up, but just find a place for me to pack. I can't send them home. What are they going to do? I can't send them home. And for about 5 months when that, that storm was going on, I didn't send anybody home. We were paying people's salaries. And God came through because of that commitment that this thing has gone beyond me now. It's now about lives that directly, their families, people have children going to school, So I think when you take on this, it's a responsibility. It takes you to a particular realm that is not about yourself. I don't think selfish people can do this for very long.
And I agree. For those of you who may not know, Tope Runsewe, he's into construction. He's as MDC of Dutum. Dutum is behind Art Hotel. They did that Art Hotel Lagos, Purple Mall. If you're in Abuja, you've seen pedestrian bridges. Some of them sponsored, I think, by World Bank. They are behind it. In fact, arguably, they're one of the biggest indigenous, locally African-owned, Nigerian-owned development company when it comes to construction. But which has been the biggest, in terms of challenges, project for you? Which was the most difficult construction project you handled?
It will be those pedestrian bridges you mentioned.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was the Art Hotel because I saw you struggle with that one.
So you see, the reason why I mentioned that is because it moves you to a different level. So from that place, it started getting easier.
Okay.
Right? It was complex because of the kind of design, as you mentioned, these were World Bank funded projects. Some particular ones amongst them had disabled access. You had ramps that, allow for, wheelchair people, all of that. It was very, very complex. I remember, and part of why it was also complex is how we got the project. Okay. Right? Yeah. Where I had moved, when I completed my degree, worked a bit in the UK, and I moved to Nigeria. And when I did, the only thing I decided to do was just focus on growing this business, right? So I moved, and I thought, okay, where am I going to live? And then I just chose Abuja, right? My parents live in Ibadan. The closest thing was Lagos, but for some reason, I visited Abuja.
You don't want to be too close to Popstar.
I visited Abuja. I love the roads, infrastructure. It was peaceful. I said, okay, if Abuja is where I'm coming to. So we came to Abuja, and I was trying to get work.
Yeah.
This was 2009. And everywhere you go for our type of work, the only person anybody in Abuja then wanted to listen to, if you are not Julius Berger, they wanted to hear some foreign company, right? And we struggled. We could not get.
But didn't your dad name and how far it's grown the company help?
No. At that point, that 2009 was the first time we were getting a federal project.
Oh.
That particular year, right? So yes, there was some history, but it was, with state governments and, mostly in the Southwest, because that's where my dad was. He was Ibadan, Oshun, those kind of places. So federal was, our first sojourn there, So we started looking for work, and I was physically in Abuja, but we could not get any project to do in Abuja. Wow. We bidded, we just were not getting it. So a friend of mine told me, look, there are some projects being funded by a World Bank program. And the thing about World Bank is if you qualify, that's technically, once you are the lowest bidder, you will get it.
Wow.
So I tried, the guy told me, I just met him, in my running around.
Yes.
Met this guy, he helped us put our documents together. That's another thing, packaging. It's so important.
Yes.
We had everything, but we did not know how to put it together.
Wow.
So this guy paid him as a consultant, right? He put all the documents together. We submitted for a project, and then we were seeing how we were going through the stages. And we got to the last stage. We had qualified
How
technically.
Much was it?
So this particular project I'm talking about was not the one we won, but it led to the bridge.
One.
Yeah. So we put in for it. I think it was around 600 million at the time. But we were not the lowest. But we were at the last stage. And I saw that we didn't win because we were not the lowest. So we had gone through the process, technical qualification. They knocked out some people. We were left with like 5. They knocked out some people. Then we were left with 3. And then out of those 3, they gave it to the lowest person. I was like, okay. So now I learned. So the next time they advertised, I didn't need any advice. I just jumped on it. And then they advertised for 4 pedestrian bridges.
Wow.
Right? No, 6 actually. 6 pedestrian bridges. And then we put in for 3. And my guys brought the documents to me. I knew that we would meet the technical because we have already done it before. So I said, the only thing left here now is the bill. And they said, I said, what's the markup people put? They said 25%. I said, go and remove 20.
Wow.
Yes. I said, go and remove 20. They said, this is risky. It's going to be at a lot. I said, go and remove 20.
Wow.
This is where leadership as an entrepreneur comes in. It's not every time that your people understand what it is you're doing. I knew exactly what we were doing. I said, go and remove 20%.
Wow.
They said, it's risky. I said, I don't care. Do it.
Wow.
They did. And guess what?
You won.
The process went. We came out. We were the lowest. 3 bridges.
Wow.
Now,
how much was this?
This was 100, 120, 150, thereabout, depending on the size at the time. And then, the process was going on. And then the local guys were like, this company, we don't know them from anywhere. How are we just going to give them 3 projects? So they said, because we're working with them for the first time, they only recommended us for 1.
Wow.
So they sent the name to New York, Washington, whatever. And then Washington came back and said, no, you did not say that a company can only get 1.
Wow.
If they have qualified and they're the lowest bidder, give them all of them.
Wow.
That is why you have instruments, you've collected bank guarantees from them. If they mess up, we blacklist them.
Wow.
So give them the job.
Wow.
That's how we got 3 projects.
Wow.
Oh, bro. I didn't know. That was the beginning of the hardest 1 year of my life. First of all, we picked the drawings. It looked like Chinese. It looked like it was in a different language.
Wow.
Like it was complex. We got a team together. We put everything together. And then at the beginning, I was like, this thing is too complex. People said, okay, how about you subcontract it? So I looked for subcontractors. When they gave me their bill, it was higher than the amount that I collected. I said, don't worry, go away. We'll figure it out. And that's how it started.
Wow.
We did everything on that project ourselves because we could not even afford, to pay people to produce the precast elements so that we just assemble. We produced everything ourselves.
Wow.
We did every single thing, all the beams, or everything. At a point, people thought I had a concrete batching plant because we were producing concrete ourselves.
Wow.
I just what did they say? Innovation is the mother of, invention. Yes. I mean, or I was at a corner. I needed to find a solution, and I came up with a solution. We developed our own local batching plant. We produce all the concrete we use for those projects ourselves in a yard with some conveyor belts. I bought some truck mixers, and we produce everything ourselves. All the concrete. Everything, till the point that I started selling concrete to people. Because people thought, this guy I did not have a batching plant. We produced everything ourselves. And, we got it done. There was a day, the project was so difficult. There was a day, it was during rainy season. I can never forget. We were working, and because we were producing the concrete ourselves, it was taking long. So something that should take an hour, we can spend the whole day doing it, right? So this particular day, it was raining, and we were on site till 2 a.m. 2 a.m. in the rain. I got home that day, drenched. My wife could not sleep. She was like, this man, you will not kill yourself like this. What is all this thing? Why are you saying? I said, I can't leave people on site. They are working till 1 a.m. in the rain. And me, I'll now come home and be robbing my wife. They must know that we're in this thing together. We are there together till 2 a.m. On another occasion, on Christmas Day, I went to church in the morning. Christmas Day, as soon as I finished in church, I was back on site. I can never forget. That day, we were doing the bridge beside Sheraton. That day, President Goodluck Jonathan passed by the site. He was going to Economical Center, which is along the bridge that we're doing beside Sheraton. And he saw us on Christmas Day working. Christmas Day. I was on the site myself. Christmas Day. I'm a pastor, by the way. I went to church in the morning. I left and went back to site because my people were working. And he sent somebody from his convoy. They stopped. And sent somebody to say, who are these people working on Christmas Day? I can never forget. I gave the aide my telephone number. He collected my number. He said the president is impressed. But the story of that bridge and what that bridge has done, those bridges has done for us, I cannot finish telling it today. That bridge, those bridges, we lost money on it. But anytime anybody in Abuja, I give them my company. Say, is it not you that did those bridge? 8 years later, that bridge gave birth to a jetty project in Lagos. Because while we were working, I did not know at the time that, people that lodged in Sheraton Hotel, they were looking at the work we were doing. So this project was 2012, 2013. 2019, we bid for a project in a federal parastatal in Lagos. We bid again, we were in the process, we won the project. I didn't know how we won the project. But when the project started, we were struggling, funds, everything. And then one of the senior men in the project called me. He said, Mr. Dutsum, do you know me? I said, no, sir. He said, I want to tell you the story of how you got this project. I said, okay. He said, he called me to Sheraton. He said, he opened his window. He said, was it not you that did this bridge? I said, yes, sir. He said, you were doing this project about 6-7 years ago. Every time I come to Abuja, I stay in this hotel. And I was looking when you people started the foundation. I will watch when I want to take my evening walks. When you people have gone home, I'll come, I'll look inside the pit. These people are doing a good job. Everything came up. I was watching. You finished. I was watching. You cleaned everything up, and I crossed the bridge. And then I saw your logo on beside the bridge. And I asked some people in Abuja, I said, who is this new Lebanese company? He said, no, it's not a Lebanese company, it's a Nigerian company. He said, and the name stuck in my head. 8 years later, this bid you submitted came. And I said, is this the same company? I checked your website, I saw that bid, I said, it's the same company. And you guys were the lowest. I said, as long as I'm on this seat, this Nigerian company must get this project. When I came to Abuja to defend the project, everybody on the panel said, how can you give it to a Nigerian company? Jetty. You want to give Jetty to a Nigerian company? They will mess you up. You have Chinese there. Give it to them. I said, I'm standing my ground. These people are the lowest. They're Nigerians. It is time for us to start encouraging ourselves. That is how. And then they told me, when this Nigerian company fails you, don't come back here. Because we can guarantee you that they will fail.
Wow.
So I'm telling you now, Mr. Bisu,
don't fail.
If you fail, it is not only you that has failed. I have also failed.
Wow.
Whatever you need to do, make sure you don't fail. And we didn't fail. We completed the project. A year after, the man called me, he was retiring. He said, I'm very proud of you. Because that time we awarded this project, we awarded 3. And we are awarded to 3 Nigerian companies. You are the only one that finished. All the others have been abandoned. You are the only one that finished. I'm proud of you. I'm retiring, but I'll never forget you.
Wow.
A few months later or a few years later, last year when there was election and there was cash crunch, I landed in Abuja. As I landed, I came out of the plane. We were waiting for our bags. Who did I run into? This man. I said, engineer, good to see you. We were talking. I said, where are you going? He said, he's going to go and vote in his village. He's from Niger State. I said, he's going to go and vote. I said, sir, what can I need to do something. I said, are you having any cash, whatever? He said, yeah. All the cash I had on me that day. I said, cash was like king. It wasn't much. At the time, I think it was like 100,000. I said, sir, the man, Nigerian people will say, Nigerian factor. This man did not collect a dime from me. He never demanded a penny. He did the work. Anytime we had issues, he would call, he would fight for us. We finished the work. I will never forget that man.
Wow.
But what I'm telling you, that bridge that I suffered on, that I told my people, go and cut 20%. By the way, we left the project, we left with losses that I took several years to pay back the losses. But what it has done, the result that this one I'm talking about was 8 years later. I didn't know the person, anybody was watching. So when you are suffering in silence, just know that the universe is recording it. The time of reward, the ones you will know of, God just wanted me to know that thing that I did, this is some reward. But there are others that I never would see. That people just say, he told them, if these people can do this bridge, there's nothing wrong with jetty. They can do jetty. At that time, my brother, we had never done jetty before. We had done bridge, but jetty.
Not jetty.
The jetty was on the water directly. To pile the jetty, it was floating barge we used. Jesus. We had never done anything like that before. In fact, when my dad found out that we had won the tender, I said, what are you looking for in the midst of? Have you done jetty before? I said that is engineering. Engineering principles are the same. If the principles we applied in doing bridge, we'll apply it here again and we'll get it done. And we did. They say favor, works in favor of the courageous. If you are not courageous, especially in Nigeria, bros, you suffer. If you are not courageous, you suffer. The things that I've done, the things that I've tried, the places that I've done in Africa, African countries, just say I wake up and head to Senegal, say we want to do business there. We have not gotten the business, but we're registered now. We're registered in Benin Republic. We've gone to Kenya to go and say, I don't know Kenyans, I don't know Senegalese people, but we will go there and we'll get it done.
My next question will be, I remember, by the way, you guys have always heard me share about one of my first billionaire friends, right? I invited to my house. It was January. And I remember, if I mentioned January, in my mind, I always say bad month. I say, good news. We got this project. And then this alert, 400 million. I say, by the grace of God, there are some good things coming up. But one thing I never shared was that he came to my house that day taking Uber. I remember asking him, I said, Uber. What happened? And you said something one of your mentors said to you, functionality before luxury. How big was the company your dad started? Was he already doing billions in turnover before you took over? And what were the unique things you brought? I know this, but how were you able to, because today your dad is so proud of you and several other people. How were you able to channel your own path where today, I mean, it's not that what my daddy gave me, you had built an empire that even your dad is like, oh, God.
Absolutely. At the beginning, it was tough.
Yeah.
And I had to...
Well, how big would what you met?
Okay, what we met. My dad did a lot of work.
Yeah.
But for context, where we are now, in 15 years of me doing this, is not less than 20 times.
Wow. What you met?
Maybe close to 30 times.
Wow.
What I met when, I came. Because I took it as I was starting a fresh company.
Okay.
Right?
Should others take it that way?
You see, everybody's... I have a strong passion for family business, which is a conversation that we can have at another time.
And that's where I'm going with
because there were times that I wanted to go and start my own thing. For many reasons. First of all, there's a natural leadership drive in me that feels like I have to own my own. There's a pride that comes with it.
Why do I have to do my own?
Yes.
Can do my own.
I can do my own. Yes. Then there was also, of course, always clash between, old generation, young generation. And there will be times that you just be like, look, this, I can't do this. Look, I left... I was working, I had a job at JP Morgan in the UK. When I resigned, I was not sacked.
Wow.
I was just promoted the time when I dropped my resignation from the UK and said, I'm coming to Nigeria.
Wow.
So when things were going some type of way, I'll tell my dad, I said, look, I'm not, you trained me well. I can stand on my own. Yes. I'm doing very well. I was doing very well before I came. So if you want me to do this thing the way I want, you've got to give me some,
Wow.
And it was tough.
It was.
I reported him to people. I said, you need to talk to your friend. Otherwise, I'm going to leave him alone. And fine, I'm going to go and be doing my own thing.
I'll go back to JP Morgan.
JP Morgan had sailed. I was not going to go back there, but I'll start my own thing.
Yeah.
And he just, gradually.
But at what point did he finally hands off that, this guy don't prove himself?
So it took a long time. And it took me taking certain decisions.
Yeah.
One of them, which many people might not be comfortable with, which cost me a lot, was after a few years of arguing, I realized that he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So I said, look, we're trying to, do all of these things. I said, you know what? Don't pay me anymore.
Wow.
No more salary from the company.
Wow.
And not only that, all the engagements that I'm doing in trying to drive and grow the business, any employment I do, any office I rent, anything I do, I'm responsible. We would eat what we kill.
Yes. Hey,
if I don't kill anything, I'll go hungry.
Wow.
And at this time, I'm a family man.
Yes.
I had a wife and children. So it was a very, very difficult decision.
Wow.
But that was the beginning of where we are now.
Wow.
Because one, that made me wake up that nothing, no safety net.
Yes.
No safety net.
Wow.
Bro, I tell you, that sometimes around the time when you were with us, there was a time I couldn't pay salaries for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months.
Jesus.
That I called my people. I said, look, guys, you can see where we are.
Yeah.
We have worked. They have not paid us. That time I was a full-time government contractor. But I learned from that, right? I said, look, we are chasing payment. I said, guys, anybody who wants to go home, go home. Whatever I'm owing, when we have money, I'll pay you.
Yes.
Guess what?
I've done that too.
Out of a team of 10 that time, nobody left.
Wow.
Not one.
Wow.
They all stayed.
Wow.
Today, now, in
1 year's salary in advance.
Look, these people that stayed that time, when now we hire consultants, do strategy, do this, MD, you need to fire some people. I said, see, those people, even if all they do is they are sitting and looking pretty, until they say they are going,
Wow.
they're not going anywhere.
Wow. Wow.
They are not. I'll create work for them. He said they have outgrown this. I said, were you here when they were suffering with me? And he said, hey, it's normal. Don't use sentiment. I said, this one I'll use sentiment. How much is their salary? I'll be paying it myself. Because they sacrificed. But all of where we are now, those pains of that time, man, what didn't I do? What didn't I do? Wow. Poultry, fishery, bulk SMS. Speaking, exactly. What didn't I try? What did I not try?
I remember I was shocked the day you called me. I said,
that was the season. Yes, it was around that time.
I need to start bulking. I said, what are you talking about? This
bulk
guy
SMS
does
website.
Contracts in
Exactly.
How much is bulk SMS money?
Yes, because what happened? And at that time too, I had a friend who was a banker.
Yes.
He was just telling me a few months ago that that time he was an account officer. I just relocated.
Yes.
We got this big project with Federal Ministry of Works, but a lot of that effort was my dad's effort.
Oh, okay.
So
keep what he killed.
So I came at that time when I came, we were doing everything together. I was, managing what he was doing.
Yeah.
So the Ministry of Work said we should bring APG. At that time, I'm talking 2009, they were paying us advance of almost $1 billion at that time.
Wow.
But it was not my money.
Yes.
Right? So, but my friend, we went to university together. It was not according. He said, when you say, hey, whoa, don't go. But after that, I left all of that.
Wow.
Left it completely. I mean, the only thing I do with that is provide support. I don't want to provide this support now. Yeah. If they need anything, we do everything, do all of that. But completely, they were not paying them. None anymore. Bro.
I want to start something for a lot of wealthy families. I want to know that you're interested. The older generation who want their children to be mentored. Because I feel we can help their children better than they can. Because, I've been in a lot of circles like that where you could see the older person who started the business either struggling with the fact that the son wants to go and start his own.
Yes.
So, and the son is in the system, but it's not being productive.
Adding value. It's a combination. You see, it's both. You cannot reap what you have not sown. I'm not going to deny that whatever pride that my father is deriving from what I'm doing today is as a result of how we were trained. I'm not going to give, there's things that I learned along the way, but the foundation is important. Yes.
He made sure you earn most of it.
Yes, and he knows that he has done what he needs to do for us to stand alone. There's this, people think what I'm doing is not an inheritance. I am running a business. We are doing business, so it is a combination. And the truth is, he didn't force me. I saw it. I said, look, we can change the narrative in Nigeria. We can change the narrative in Africa. How many third generation businesses do we have? How many fourth generation businesses do we have? Now, Dutum is a 35-year-old company. There are very few. 35 years.
That's good construction.
Yes, 35 years is not a joke. And I've been only in it for 15. So the amount of time that my dad has done it is still more than the time that I have. But what we have done in 15 years is more than
almost 30
times what everything he did. I'm proud of what he did. I'm excited for what he did. And he's also proud of what he is. It was a good foundation. But both of you there's a part for both generations to play. You as the younger one, there as the older one, everybody is give and take. It's almost like a marriage. Sometimes you calm down so that the other person will win. Sometimes you would react, but you have to have a balance, right? You as a younger person, you cannot be overly too proud. At the same time, even the older person too cannot be overly too proud because I'm over 40. I'm not. Yes, I'm your son, but I'm a full grown adult with my own family and my own responsibilities. So there are times when you, as the older person, too has to pipe down. But I have a strong passion for family business. That is the only reason why I am doing what I'm doing, not because I cannot do it on my own. It's easy to go and do it on your own. It's actually hard to try to build this in this environment with all the intricacies that come with it. It's not as easy as it looks. Trust me.
I agree. My final question will be, why is it important as a wealthy person to stay humble? A lot of time people meet me and they're like, oh, you are so humble. We love your... But I'd be like, I don't know how else to be. I just be me. And I can be tough as well. I'm not an easy person. But why is it important for people not to allow money to get into their head?
There are two things for me. Two very important things that drive that. Apart from the fact that I met it at home, right? And people around me are like that. That's one. But there are two things. One is scriptural. I believe strongly that I have nothing except that which has been given to me.
True.
Which is scriptural. So if you have been given, why are you being proud about it? It's not yours. It's God that gave us all of these things. All the grace, the intelligence, the drive is God's. So what is making you proud? That is one. And the second is, I've not even started. Where we are going, we have not even scratched the surface.
Come on.
So what is it? What have we done that we are being proud about? What is 10 billion? What is 20 billion naira? We're not even started. Isn't Dangote? Does Dangote have two heads? We are talking about continental, international domination, global domination. We have just taken one small portion in Lagos. You now not let anybody rest. You are just You are a big man in banana. Now nobody can rest. You are passing siren. What have we done? What is inside it? What is inside Rolls Royce? Well, yes, I don't have yet. But what is inside it? We have not done anything yet. So those are the three things for me that keep me. That first is the foundation. Second is the word of God. That there's nothing that we have we have not been given. So why are we making pride of, making a boast of it? And thirdly is that we have not even started.
Come on. I love
Where
that.
we are going is still far.
It's bigger
than all of this. So there's nothing to be proud of. Yes, we thank God. We are glad that God has brought us to where we are, and it's been a journey, but we have not even done anything.
Yes.
So there's nothing to be overly over them. Anybody who is doing as they are doing, either they don't have these three things. One, the foundation. Two, that scriptural perspective. And three, maybe they feel they have arrived.
Yes.
So if they have arrived, fine.
Arriving too early.
They're arriving too early. Well, and for me, honestly, I'm waiting for when I will say I've arrived, because I don't think it will ever come.
Even me.
I think until the day that I'm going, I will continue to be pushing that. What next? That is what I tell myself, my children, anybody who is close to me. We have done this. What next? What next? That don't stay on one spot. Spend 2 seconds thanking God for it, doing a little celebration if you have, but be on the move for the next one. We have not even taken Nigeria. We have not taken West Africa. We have not taken Africa. We have not taken the world. What are we talking about? We have just taken one mushroom corner somewhere in Lagos. We are now saying we are not. We still have a long way to go.
I love that.
We have a long way to go.
Wow. I wish we can continue, but we have to end.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of another beautiful episode of Billionaire Habits with me, Stephen Akintayo. This is the Ikoyi episode in our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. We love you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.